10:20 p.m. in the East, streaming live on Pride48.com. It's time for The Mix. My name is Daniel Brewer. I do not do this show alone. Stop staring at me, Adam. I do it with my best friend, Adam Burns. Adam, how are you this evening?
If I stare at you like that, does it make you uncomfortable?
It does. You need to have like a trigger warning on your video.
I'm trying to stare into the camera.
Thank you for asking, though.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Adam.
Yes.
I haven't heard from you in 6 whole days.
Well, it's interesting. You know, we were talking about it earlier because we had this live streaming weekend, which I think went relatively well. I think it went well.
It's on our list to talk about.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then today, frog in my throat. And then today, when I logged on tonight, you're like, oh my God, I haven't seen Adam. I haven't heard from you. You just dropped off the face of the planet. It's not as if we just chat every day. We normally will go a week between shows. I mean, between talking.
But there were things that were pending. So you and I hosted a lot of shows this weekend in the sense that we used our Zoom to connect to the servers for them to do their show because they couldn't get the software to work or for whatever reason. And in those cases, we're responsible for recording those shows as well as recording the shows that you and I do together, the opening show, the closing show. And stuff. So I had a bunch of audio from shows that I hosted here that I knew that you needed to, for posting, like the opening show, not the opening show.
Did I?
You hosted that. I have the closing show, the not this happy hour or anything like that, but I forget. Mix minus itself. Anyway, there's some, so we had this open question.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, the last thing you said to me on Sunday was, I'm going to need your audio from some of those shows to post. And I said,
yes.
Okay, well, I'll get to that tomorrow. And you said, no rush. But I never, ever heard back. And I also had to specifically ask you for the Mix Minus audio because when I ran it, I was like, oh, yeah, I need to edit
I forgot to upload that. Well, anyway, yes, I did because...
That's all I meant. That's all I meant about you not being around. It's just like, I was hoping everything was all right. I knew that the Geeky Gay this week was not live.
Yep.
So...
How would you know if I was alive or dead if I wasn't posting a live Geeky Gay? Like, I know.
That's my point.
I could be in a dumpster somewhere and you wouldn't know unless, a Geeky Gay. I will say, some people have resorted to contacting Marc to see how I'm doing because.
Wow.
Like I don't.
Because he's on Facebook.
Yeah, because he's on Facebook. Yeah. So Tim or, other people will be like, hey, Marc, I know Adam's not going to see this. Is he alive? Or whatever. So you could do that. Yeah.
No, I get it.
I get tired. I mean, I know you're older than me, but I get really physical. Yeah. When I would do Pride 48 live events, you know this about me. Mm-hmm. I would be around people and then I would have to go back to my room and I would have to recharge. Yep. And these 2 weeks have been so busy for me that and work is busy and all that I was just like, oh, I'm done. I just don't want to do anything else. And so I just had a normal work week, nothing big, but I was just like, no podcasting, no anything. I'm going to rest. So that was it. So yes, I'm fine. And
okay, great.
Yeah, I'm good. Doing great.
Typically when I say that I'm fine, I follow it up by saying thank you for asking, but that's fine. You don't have to do that. Anyway, Adam, thousands upon thousands of people tune into our podcast each and every week for one reason and one reason only, and that is to follow my journey on the road to running or whatever it's called, the running road, the trail less run. I don't know. I don't have a catchy name for it. What do you want from me?
You should have a segment and theme music and all this, production quality.
And yet I have nothing.
No?
Hello. I have that. Anyway, the last I left us, about the running update on the last show. I believe that I had made it up to 4.5 minutes of running for 1.5 minutes of walking. I'm happy to report that I have upped that this week. I am now doing 5 minutes of running and 1:30 walking. And I'm starting, I think my next step is going to be to decrease my walking time. So I think next week I'm going to keep 5 minutes of running, but do 1 minute of walking instead of 1.5 minutes. Only because everything else I'm reading about interval running, they always have you walking for like 30 seconds. And I'm just like, maybe I need to be training to recover faster. So I'm going to try to shorten my walk periods to make sure that I'm running better. Anyway, that's what it is. I have a simple week this week. My long run was in the middle of Pride 48 weekend. I had to do a 5-mile run on Sunday last week. And let me tell you, it was hard. It was very hard to do. And I don't know if that was just lack of sleep over the weekend or having been drinking the night before and maybe not
I'm sure those didn't help.
Recovered or not. Yeah, right. Because I did the first 3 miles fine, but let me tell you, those last 2 miles, I was struggling to get
I'm sure the keto diet doesn't help either because they say you're gonna like disprove it or something. You're gonna completely pull out some article right now and be like,
nope.
But most people who run say they need to carbo load before they run, but you are keto except Saturdays. So you don't get a lot of carbs. So I don't know if that's a factor, but I would assume it would be,
Those people tend to have much higher metabolisms than me. I've not done any distance. Keep in mind that the longest run that I'm doing is a 10K, right? So that's like 6.2 miles. Your body doesn't need to have anything special for a 10K. Like there's no, when you're talking about people that want to take, cookies and stuff to eat while they're running, those are your half and full marathons. Those are your 13 miles. And I think even then, most marathoners wouldn't eat anything for a half marathon. But a 26.2 mile run, your body will use up all of its available energy and need some replenishment, whether that be converting fat to energy or converting new food or eating the muscle itself, or you eating some nutrient pack on the way that you're running. I don't know that I ever want to run a marathon. I think I'm doing a 10 miler in April. That's the weekend that I'm doing the 5K, the 10K, and a 10 miler. I think that's as long as I would want to go. I don't really have a desire at this point to go beyond that. And the only reason I'm doing that 10 mile is because it's a really cool medal. It's a Stitch medal, and I love Stitch.
I mean, we all know it's for all of you runners. It's all about the medals.
It is.
You were every time you're like, well, oh my God, Adam, the medal for this run is so cool.
Yes.
I've got to get this medal. And then I get on the Zoom. I think I mentioned this already, but I get on the Zoom with Taylor last week because I was streaming for them. And he has his medals all lined up behind his head on his perfectly centered, like he wants everyone who's on a Zoom call with him to see the medals, Yeah. It's crazy.
I would like to thank everyone who donated to Autism Speaks for my Autism Speaks run, which is coming up in January. Thank you for I met my goal of $700. In fact, I'm somewhat over that. I'm at about $850 right now. So thank you all. I really do appreciate it. And remember, tax deductible.
Shit.
So you can always what?
There was something I was supposed to do and I didn't do. I was supposed to look because the Spit Valve Factory apparently
I know. You're going to fill
triples the donation, and I completely forgot. I hadn't filled out. We have a spreadsheet, as we all know, for vacations. And Mark and I split our vacations 50-50. And so we enter everything that we spent. And then whoever paid more, less or more, we will reimburse the other one. You know what I'm saying? So that we're exactly 50-50 for these. And that was the chore I did this week. I had to enter all of my stuff. I thought I was done. I entered everything for Iceland. I entered everything for London. And I was like, okay, Boyfie, I'm done. Good. He's like, did you enter the New England trip? I was like, I haven't done that yet. Then I had to go back.
Have you put in the expenses from the Pride 48 weekend?
The expenses
Have
from
you done that? Yeah.
I've paid
Pride
the
48
people.
weekend.
I've paid the people who won stuff.
So, and we were agreed that the money for the death fund we were going to take out of the anchor money, right? I don't need to send you $50.
You do not.
for
I have
okay.
now downloaded that money.
Oh, okay, good.
So,
good.
But I need to remember how much, because it was like
it was
$200.
$200. There was $200.
So I guess I have another
$100
$100 that can be used for whatever the next contest or whatever. But
right, the next contest.
Because I just got it all. I didn't get part of it.
You know what? Let's do this, Adam. Let's just be crazy. We're going to give away $100 to the first phone call tonight.
We're going to have $100 to the first phone call?
Yeah, for the first phone, when we get into the contact segment tonight. Whoever the first caller is on the contact segment tonight.
Idea.
Yeah,
I think that's.
you can't call now. If you haven't called, it's too late. You can't call now. But
you're listening
whoever
live.
the first,
Okay.
Whoever the first caller was on the contact segment
will do
tonight,
that.
we're going to give them $100. That's awesome. Speaking of Pride 48, I feel like it was a cathartic weekend, kind of like it was interesting to me to hear other people remember things of all those years, especially, and I know this sounds very inflated ego, whatever, but it's gratifying to hear that people enjoyed things that you spent time working on that you may have forgotten that you spent time doing. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of those weekends, I'm like, oh yeah, we had to do this. Oh yeah, that was a pain in the ass and everything. But to hear that some of those weekends were people's favorite weekends, and that they had specific memories from those, that made it really kind of cool to reflect back on that. And I was very proud that, we had done this thing that had lasted for 15 years and all the people that were still participating. I was very sad of the sheer number of missing people.
Yeah.
And I don't mean, listening to us or whatever, but just people who used to be really involved in Pride 48 that I didn't see all weekend long. I was expecting to see, a Nessa or a Gavin or I guess maybe Nessa showed up at the closing show. Maybe
did Nessa? I didn't see Nessa.
I
saw Joey,
and,
I saw Joey Buhecker. I saw, so he showed up like the last two shows, I think.
Yeah,
and then
just to bitch about Taylor.
I saw
he showed up just to,
and maybe
to try to take a swipe
maybe
at
he
Taylor,
had been listening the whole weekend. I don't know. It's not like I get a list.
And I think someone in the chat room tonight asked, Gary in the chat room wanted to know how many people were in chat last weekend, but I think what he really wants to know is like the stream numbers. How many?
I think we topped out around 80.
Okay.
So, which actually for the live streaming weekends, I think that is pretty close to the highest we get.
Well, keep in mind also that everyone listening in Discord that night was not counted in those numbers. So it was 80 people listening to the stream.
No, I added those up.
Oh, okay. Okay, you added.
Yeah,
okay.
I did the math. Yeah. I can do that amount of math.
You did
Discord plus live stream. It's D plus L equals.
Got it. Two different columns on there. But yeah, it was, and that's about right.
Yeah,
that's about the number of people that listen on a live weekend at any given time.
Yeah,
so.
I would say last year we didn't get up to that. I think maybe the year before. So it was good. And I feel like people were sufficiently sad as I wanted. It's ending. They're sad. Makes me feel better. They care. Not that I want people to be sad. Anyway, that's it. Yeah, I think it went well. I liked hearing all the reminiscing. I enjoyed seeing pictures of myself when I was skinnier, but at the same time, I'm like, it was that thing of like, why did you have low self-esteem then? Look what you looked like then. Now look at you. And then, of course, in another 20 years, I'll look at pictures of we've had this discussion before, but I was having that. I was like, oh my God, I do look like I'm in Thunder from Down Under. How dare they?
I think the thing there to remember is there are people that I find very attractive that you don't, or that Zach doesn't. There are people that Zach finds attractive that I don't. There are people that you find attractive that I don't. It's like everyone has their own different taste. So just because you're not what we would consider to be, magazine cute or whatever, I think there's somebody for everybody. There's like somebody out there thinks you're cute.
Are you saying just somebody finds me attractive? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying, Adam. It's like somebody out there
somebody
thinks you're
finds me
adorable
attractive.
just the way you are. That's
yeah.
right.
It's not you, but somebody does.
Adam, I have a confession. It's me, your mom. I find you to
Could you be my
so
pastor? Because you
attractive.
sound so much more like my pastor.
From your lips to God's ears, let me tell you, son, because I've been waiting for you to ask me to prophesize to you all these years. I do so much. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you.
I mean,
Thank
I really
my
just
son
need him to
me.
say, do the whole, when you, at the end, when people are supposed to come up, what's that called? Everybody, do you want to get saved? You come up to the front. Baptists do that
You're
at
asking
every,
me
what's that called?
Altar call?
Yeah, the altar call. That's all I need you to do, an altar call. Anyway, it was a great weekend. When we said our last goodbye, I was kind of sad because I was like, that's our last goodbye for this particular thing that we're doing. So that was sad. But
here's the funny thing to me. I knew that I wanted to play a song from the Muppet movie because so much of the skits that I had been involved in and either helped write or, acted in or whatever, that had always been the direction that I had given Matt Burlingame when he was writing the scripts, and the things that I used when I wrote it. It was like, they should always be very Muppet Show-like. They're, absurd and, very loosely, not really. You can always make asides to the audience. That's totally encouraged. All of those things, which it's a total ripoff for me from the Muppets because I grew up with the Muppets. So I knew I wanted to play.
Are you the eagle guy? Is that your character? Are you Sam the eagle? We said we were those old people, Statler and Waldorf, episode 1 of Dubious Intent Plus, because I remember that's the photo I used.
Yeah.
But really, maybe you're Sam the Eagle, come to think of it.
I view myself more as like a Scooter. Like Scooter was the stage manager. That's more me, more Scooter. Has your hands and everything and, that. Hi, Mel. Mel says that she is having issues with YouTube and TuneIn. So glad to listen for a few. Hey, remember, Mel,
I'm not streaming.
Remember, Mel, if you click on the pin tab at the top of the chat room, there's a direct embed player for our stream that you can, not use TuneIn. So, you did. Adam forgot to stream. Adam forgot to stop streaming until just right this moment.
We're now on the stream. By the way,
nice.
I only did a live streaming weekend last weekend, and I didn't remember to hit the broadcast button. Sorry.
Oh, Archer says he can't hear us on YouTube. Well, that's fun too.
Oh, mother. It's because I rebooted the mixer and I forgot to go back in and oh my God.
Auntie Scott says he sees me more as a Dr. Bunsen honeydew. You know what? I'll take it because both Dr. Bunsen Honeydew and Scooter were voiced by Dave Getz. So that's a win for me. So Archer is saying he not yet. He's answering something.
There's a little bit of a delay, so I mean, it's not going to be.
You know
perfect.
what? Adam,
okay, yeah.
In the pre-show, we, I swear, I'll get back to my Muppet story in just a second. But in the pre-show, we agreed that I will record I'll take the Zoom. I'll take the Zoom video as a backup, and I forgot to hit record on Zoom.
No, we weren't on the live Pride 48
You know
live
what,
stream.
Adam? Hold on. I know how to fix this. Let's just start over. All right. So I knew I wanted to play a song from the Muppet movie. That was a foregone conclusion until 20 seconds before I played it, because we started playing Auntie Scott's ending announcement, which was about 6 minutes long. And I had a different song queued up than the Rainbow Connection. It was a very last minute switch that I went to Rainbow Connection. And then I guess someone in the chat room earlier had predicted that I was going to play Rainbow Connection, and I didn't see their message, so I actually had Moving Right Along queued up, which is the Fozzie Bear Kermit the Frog number from the movie, and it was like I actually had that one queued up. I was going to play Moving Right Along, because I thought that was like a fitting kind of thing.
I don't think I know that song, but I probably, if I heard it, I might. But
do 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 do, moving right along.
Oh yeah, the melody sounds familiar for sure.
Yeah, and it's Fozzie and Kermit. I love that. But I ended up at the last minute switching to Rainbow Connection. I'm glad I did. Because Daniel's face is covered up by the recording. Audio listeners, you have no idea all the fun things you're missing on the live YouTube stream tonight. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I need another week of rest. I'm just gonna rest another week, and then everything will be good.
So adding to your stress of the live Pride 48 weekend was the fact that you were babysitting Pissy McPissface, and which is your mother's dog.
I know everybody is done with this. This will be the last I will mention, because she will be gone. When I get back from my haircut tomorrow, we will only have one dog again. So I will not. But
I have a haircut tomorrow too.
Oh, great!
Mine's at 2:00.
Is it in St. Louis?
No, it's in Riverview.
No. Okay. So yeah, Tabatha is here, the dog.
Tabatha the dog.
And I will say this, she, again, I will say the same thing again. She has not had any accidents where she squatted and like purposely did the deed. She has gone outside, and every time I walk her, even though she did chew through her leash, she has pooped or peed or what. So all that's fine. And now that she's getting used to us, she is peeing less. I think she has gone a whole 24 hours without peeing, and now she does not pee on me. She hasn't peed on me or like peed when I walked in a few days. Marc went to walk her like yesterday, and she saw the leash and peed. But anyway. So
that's because it's a new metal leash that she can't chew through.
Like, damn it. So that's going. We have a nice rug in the living room, and she decided that when she was bored that she needed to chew the edge of that rug, and she has started pulling the threads out of the rug, and
oh my God, she is helping. She feels like that's a big knotted piece of hair right there, and she's slowly and methodically working through straightening it out for you.
And she is so mean to Sydney, like so mean to say. She like paws her like this, like over and over, and she jumps on top of Sydney. She bites Sydney. I don't know if it's a hard bite, but she's like, like this. Yeah. And I don't think Sydney likes it. It's hard to tell, but I don't see Sydney's tail wagging, and Sydney is growling like a mad woman and coming over to my legs and stuff, like, protect me. And I hope that gets better, because I was, that's going to be bad if
that's a puppy though. That's what a puppy does.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, and she's already bigger than Sydney. And so, she could hurt her, and not mean to. So but we're thinking of getting another dog, and
That's how puppies play. You never played with a puppy and walked away? Just like, oh my God, they just keep biting me. It's just like, all over. It's been a while.
I've had puppies. This is my second dog that I've owned. Sydney is my second dog that I've owned as an adult. And both of them, both Katie and Sydney, I had as puppies. So I should remember. But anyway, so, there are pros and cons. Like, she's getting better in some areas. That's good. She is now sitting. We can tell her to sit. She will sit, like, before we give her a treat or before we give her food or whatever. We'll tell her to sit. She does that. She's peeing less. Mm-hmm. She is destroying the rug, but gonna kill Sydney at some point. But hey, she's gone tomorrow night. They arrive and they're taking her, and so
hallelujah.
I'll be like, okay, streaming weekend over. No more Tabatha. I can now
No,
sleep, you know?
I mean, you'll have to wash the seats first because they probably reek of piss. But yeah, then you'll be able to sleep and it'll be great.
Well, no, she has not been allowed on the couch or the bed the whole time. So there's no. Although I feel like our downstairs smells like dog, not really like pee, but just like dog. Like
dog. You have 2 dogs now.
I'm gonna try to get Maria to come next week. So should be fine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Maria is your maid because you're very boogie and you have a maid shows up. Our cleaning lady, because we're not bougie enough to have a maid. Our cleaning lady was here today. Her name's Melissa. She was here today. I wanted her to just clean the kitchen and the master bath because those are the 2 rooms that were the worst at keeping clean. And she was like, well, I can do like all downstairs. Like I can't just do the bathroom and the kitchen. So she does the living room.
So funny. We both have a female.
Mm-hmm.
They both of them have a name that starts with an M.
Yes.
And they both have 3 syllables in their name.
Oh, wow. You're
Maria and Melissa.
This is how conspiracy theories are born here. That's right. My middle name is Joseph, and your first name used to be Joseph.
Yeah.
Ooh. My cats have the same birthday as you. Ooh. See, it's all likely. Yeah. Speaking of the cats, since you were talking about your dog there, we needed to take the cats to the vet this week to get their murder mitts clipped because we bought clippers and we watched some YouTube videos on how to clip the claws. But I kind of wanted a professional to do it and show me. So I booked a tech appointment at the vet for them.
To show you how to clip fingernails.
Yeah, because cats are not like dogs. They're not just going to hold their paw out.
I understand.
You have to hold them and squeeze their paw to get
push it out.
Yeah, you have to push it out and then snip them very quickly and make sure you don't cut their quick, right?
So they don't claw your face.
Yeah. Well, it's not that, but what? Go ahead. Yes.
Shit. I forgot what I was going to say.
While you think about that, I was trying. So this all involves me getting the cats in the carrier to start with. So we used the old treat trick, right? Well, we had some treats and they both came out and I took Barley and Zach was going to take Ian. And so we had the big double cage already open. So they ate their treats. I go and I put Barley in the cage. He hisses at me and gets very mad. Ian, squirms and gets away from Zach. So now I have Ian in the cage I have Barley in the cage and Ian is hiding under the bed. So I have to go and try to get Ian out from under the bed. I finally get Ian out from under the bed. Yes, Auntie Scott, Zach screamed. And I finally got Ian trapped in the bathroom, cornered in the bathroom where he ran to, and I scooped him up and I held him and I got him all the way into the living room and got him to the point where I was going to put him into the cage. And to do that, I had to open the cage. So I had I'm holding the cat. I'm trying to open the cage with one hand, and that he takes that opportunity to just start repeatedly biting me. So it's like on my wrist here. He was like repeatedly biting me.
Maybe it was bite marks I saw on your butt earlier.
Yeah, he scratched. I don't know if you can see my finger there. He ripped into my finger and here. And so now I'm bleeding and he runs and takes off. And so I'm like, all right, fine. I got to take Barley, right? I don't know if you've ever tried to put Neosporin on a finger and then also unwrap a Band-Aid and wrap it around your finger.
I mean, it's a challenge. And I hate having Band-Aids on my fingers because typing.
Yeah, but then every time I get the Band-Aid open, it would stick to itself, and then I couldn't put it on because I only had one hand to work with. And in the meantime, the blood started dripping on the Neosporin.
Couldn't Zach put a Band-Aid on your finger?
He was very upset with the cat at that moment. So anyway, I took Barley on his own. Now, Barley was pissed off that he was in this cage, and I don't blame him, right? The last time that human beings put them in a cage and took them someplace, other than the one time we took them to the vet right after we got them, they got taken to a shelter and left and abandoned. And so there's a certain amount of trauma involved with getting in cages, right? Barley was very, very mad. And then he got to the vet. Once we got inside the vet's office, I think he recognized that he was like, oh yeah, I've been to this place. But I now know that I'm not going to be taken to a shelter, right? So because he calmed down, he let me pet him in the cage while we were waiting for the tech, and he let me hold him while she cut the nails and showed me what to do. And so he was a very good boy. He got his nails cut. He only got a little bit grumpy because she took too long on one of his front paws. And then, she gave him a treat. He got back in the cage and, head home, and he was all great. But Ian was still pissed at me. Ian would not. He was, he was hiding from me all day for the rest of the day. And in the evening, he wouldn't come out. He was, hiding underneath there. So I had to get down underneath the bed and apologize to him and tell him that I was sorry. And,
do you think that worked?
You know what? Here's a weird thing, Adam, because I gave him this little speech, and then I went upstairs to my office to work on some stuff. And about 5 minutes later, he comes walking in the door up here, and he kind of slowly walks past and lets me kind of pet him on the back, and then he jumped up in the window seat and went to sleep up there. So yeah, I feel like something. I mean, at least a soothing voice to him.
It'll take time to rebuild that relationship, but small steps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is small stuff. But Barley's nails are cut, and he was the one that had the problem. Barley, Ian will often chew his nails, and he's much better at, sharpening them, and that also sheds off some of the nail. Barley's not good at that, and Barley, bless his heart, he sometimes will get in his little bed right behind me. That's right next to my bookshelf back here. He'll get in his little bed that he likes to sleep in here. And his nails were so long and sharp that he would get them stuck on the bed. So when he tried to get out of the bed, he was dragging the bed around with them because his claw was stuck in it and he couldn't get it out. Poor little thing. So he needed the nail cut much more than Ian did. So it all worked out.
It's not the same, although it is hard to cut a dog's nails. I don't think it would be as difficult, or it is as difficult as a cat, because... Mm-hmm. The cat's a whole.
I feel like a dog.
thing.
You can yell at a dog, raise your voice at a dog, and they'll get in line. It's like you raise your voice to a cat, they're gonna scratch you.
But I don't know, because we take her to the groomer every 2 weeks, and they do that. So I
see. Yeah, it's also really easy to get Sydney to get into your car, isn't it?
It is. I literally tell her, get in the car, and she jumps up in the car, and she gets a little shaky. She's a shaker when she's nervous. Yeah. So she still gets a little shaky. I was going to say, I know it's not on the Trello, but you bringing up the vet thing. Yeah. I was so mad because our vet, we just, in May, I want to say, had the yearly visit for Sydney, where they do the whatever. And you assume that they know what to do. It's a yearly thing. They call you, they email you, they say, hey, it's that time again. You got to come. I am not a vet. Right. So I took her.
You don't even play one on TV.
No, I took her.
Yeah.
And they did the thing. They did everything. But they came in at one point and they said, do you want us to do a fecal examination? And I said, do whatever you need to do. Do whatever is due. When I go to the mechanic, I say, okay, whatever needs to be done, just do. I'm probably stupid because they probably do everything and charge me too much. But I just say, do whatever needs to be done. And that's what I told the vet. Because she only goes once a year, right? Anyway, so then we ran out of heartworm medicine a week later. Well, maybe a month later, and a few weeks later, we'll say. And you can go online now and order the heartworm pills and all that, but they have to send it to the vet to approve it.
Yes.
The vet declined it because she had not had a fecal exam.
Yes.
Now I have to take her back and do another vet visit. Because they are denying her medication for something that they didn't do when I told them, do whatever needs to be done.
Yes.
I'm irritated. And
I would have called another vet. I would have called, I literally would have gone to a different vet. And it's I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt until you just blatantly fuck me over. And at that point in time, it's I'm done. It's like, I don't need a second opinion, right?
Well, I mean, I still would have had to take her because if I go to another vet, they're going to make her come in. So I'm still going to have to go in.
You misunderstand me. I wouldn't care what it cost. It would just be the principle of you fucked me over. No, I'll never darken your door again.
Cyclone says,
I want you to get that call from another vet saying, we need to have Barley and Ian's records sent over to us. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want.
They've been my vet since I had Katie. They've been my vet the whole time I've lived here. But they have, well.
Did you call them?
No, I haven't talked to them yet because I was like, well, I can't do it in the next 2 weeks because I'm too busy. Like
you should call them. You should call them and go like, look, I don't understand. You asked me if I wanted a fecal exam last time. I said, yeah, do whatever you need to do. You didn't do it. Now you're turning down her medicine and wanting me to do another office visit with another. It's like, just approve the damn medication. It's like you had your chance to run the fecal. It wasn't not my problem. They probably, Adam, charged you for it. So you should really go and look and see if they charged you for the fecal exam.
Anyway, they just reminded me of that because I've got to deal with it. Another weird thing about the vet.
Well, I'm being told by our executive producer that there are many fine vets in St. Louis where you get your hair cut. So you can just take Sydney 5 hours to get the vet visit.
Does your vet have you go into the room with your animal? Or do you sit in the lobby and...
No, I always go with the cat. So
they always have us go in the room. I don't want to go in the room. I just want to hand you my pet.
Oh, no.
Let you go to the room.
No.
I don't want to be there. Anyway.
The only time I didn't want to be there, and I may get some backdraft on this, the only time I didn't want to be there was when they put down Celine and Buzzy. Like when I had to make the decision to put them down. I didn't want to be in the room when they, actually passed.
Oh,
so
I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah.
I haven't had to have a dog put to sleep. One died in my arms and the other one is still going. So let's see how it goes.
And I didn't have to choose that for Princess because she passed on her own. So Adam, I needed to, I don't know if I told you this or not. I needed to learn this new framework for a project that I was working on at work. And so I wrote myself this little word game.
Yeah, you showed it to me.
Yeah, I showed it. I don't think we talked about it in the podcast before, but so yeah, it's a little word game, and I really like it. It's kind of how would you describe it? It's like word search combined with Tetris, right? So you find a word in a grid of letters, and when you find and spell that word in whatever direction, you clear it, and then the cells above it like drop down, and so it keeps compacting into a grid so that you can spell different words. So I was playing with this, and then my D&D group, I was showing them, and because I'm like, I don't know what to call this, and I don't know what rules to put into it. Like how do I make this a game where you could progress, right? Instead of it just being, a one little crossword puzzle, basically. And they suggested a whole bunch of really cool things. Number one, making it a multiplayer game so that you could play like Words with Friends. So you both start off with this. You're spelling off the same board, but when they spell a word, it takes away those letters from you. And so the words you might have going to be spelling the next round, so it comes more strategic of like spelling words against each other. And that led into, because it was my D&D group, they were like, oh, you should call it Spell Dungeon. And I was like, oh, I kind of like this idea of Spell Dungeon because what if you could be a certain class? What if you played this game and there were like 2 or 3 classes that you could play as, right? So you could be like a wizard.
Are you making like an MMORPG or whatever it's called?
No. And then each class has its own unique ability. So it's still the same exact game. It's just that whatever class you choose, you get a certain power. So like, let's say if you played one class, you'd have the ability to shuffle the board. So you could spell your word and then shuffle the board, which, throws your opponent off. But you can only do like that once or twice during a game. And then another one may have the ability to like switch some tiles, like, so that they can get letters into range that they could spell a bigger word or something, or something like they could see the future, like they could have the game itself tell them what the longest possible word they could spell at this point was one time.
Yeah.
So so just having the computer go through the dictionary and find, oh yeah, here's a 13 letter word you could spell. Just little things like that, just little powers like that. I think that's kind of what I'm going to go to is, it's kind of so then it becomes a morphing of D&D and word search.
Well, of course
Tetris.
they gave you D&D type things because you were literally at a D&D group, right?
Doesn't that sound cool?
It does.
Doesn't that sound like a cool
It sounds
game?
cool. But you did go, I will say this, because I don't remember you saying you had a goal of selling this.
Mm-mm.
You said that your goal was to A, learn this framework, and B, to have something to play because you like word games. Having it have an opponent means that you're going to have to find someone to play with you. Yeah. So.
I mean, that's why you have links, right? You challenge somebody to the game and you send them the link to it. And then, I don't know. I mean,
No, it sounds fun. I was just saying.
You could play it single player as well, but I'm just saying that it would be really fun to have a multiplayer or a 2-player version of it.
You could use ChatGPT to be your AI opponent. Just
why? I could just play against a real person.
You could.
Anyway, that was it. So that's it, Adam. Spell Dungeon. So
Spell Dungeon. There you go. You better trademark
Dungeon.
that name. You've said it to our millions of listeners. Someone's going to go out and.
Do you think that I would have named it Spell Dungeon if I didn't already purchase the domain spelldungeon.com? Do you not know me, Adam?
But did you purchase the spelldungeon.com? Because apparently you like to put the in front of things.
I did not. Adam, let's do I rearranged, so I'm no longer using the iPad.
Okay.
But I moved everything over my soundboard, but now I have to look to see where the things are.
Autism Speaks emailed me literally, as I was telling you that I haven't filled out the form. Yeah. They emailed me and said, just a reminder about this matching gift request. Yeah. I'm not even joking. It came in while I was talking to you. It was so weird.
Yep. They probably listened to the show.
They were listening. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, do what they say and make sure that I get. There's prizes if you raise a lot of money out of them. I don't know what they are, but you know what? I gotta say that this has been a really fun experience running for them for this race. I didn't have to pay for the race. I just had to raise $700. And I mean, I donated $150 on my own because that's what it would have cost me to register for the 10K. So it's like I went ahead and started my donation. So I paid $150, which is what I would have paid to do the race if there were still spots left. But I got this week. I went and they sent me a Autism Speaks running shirt, for the race, and then also a T-shirt that has the Autism Speaks logo on it and stuff. And I got to choose whether I wanted a baseball cap or a headband stuff. So they sent all of that for free. And there's like a party that they're doing at the race during the race weekend over at Coronado Springs that the autism team, is invited to, free food and drinks and stuff. So it's like I'm not unhappy about doing this for charity. I think it's been kind of a cool experience so far.
I'll let you know how much they give my niece.
Cool.
Because I'm sure they're going to write her a check. Right? So,
right. Yeah, they're going to write her a check. Yeah. I'm told you, Adam. They'll absolutely write her a check. But in the meantime, we are going to give $100 to the very first caller tonight. So, Adam, let's do this.
3, 2, 1. Contact is the secret, is the moment. When everything happens, contact is the answer, is the reason that everything happens. Contact. Let's make contact.
Excellent. It is the contact segment of the show. This is the segment of the show where we read your emails, play your voicemails. Adam, do we have any emails this evening?
We do. We always get an email from our producer, executive producer. What is he? Our vice president of producing.
He's our executive producer, Cyclone.
But normally it's just things about the segment. Because he sends us information. He sends us information every week for the test kitchen.
Yeah, he spends hours putting all this together, and then so that he's just not just handing us stuff, he writes us a little note. And Adam never reads.
How dare you? I read it. But it's not for the show. But I just want to. Normally, I don't consider it to be for the show.
Right.
But I want to read this.
Yeah.
He says, "Greetings.
Mm-hmm.
Nice job, as expected,
Yes.
on the live weekend event. Every indication I saw was that the audience thoroughly enjoyed and appreciated all of the shows and work that went into a highly entertaining extravaganza."
Extravaganza.
Anyway, then the rest was just normal stuff. But I just wanted to read that. Thank you, Cyclone. I also think it went well. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. He did not executive produce the weekend though.
he did not.
We should have had him.
He did
We should have had him do that. He's very expensive though, so I don't know that we could have done that. Adam, do we have any voicemail? Who's our first caller that's going to win $100? Adam, who is it?
I'm pulling it up right now. Hold on one second.
No, he's trying to find a sound. He's searching. He's searching for it. Oh, Adam, no phone calls this week, huh? No phone calls.
It was. Let's see. Do I have another one?
We would like to congratulate Tom from Tom and Terry, who won the $100 prize.
Yes.
And also remind you that just because we gave away the money for that celebrity death fund, it starts again. Like the pot is ready to be added to again. We're right now at $0, but the first celebrity we get a reporting of being dead, we will make sure that we add $1 to the pot. So make sure,
unless you killed them, which is not.
That's right.
allowed.
It's against the rules for you to be responsible for killing them. Anyway, so there you go, Adam. That's our contact for the week. That's great.
3, 2, 1. Contact.
Yeah. So call in any of those, or there doesn't have to be a death. Yeah. I mean, you won't be entered into a contest for just
Right,
calling in, but you can call in. Tell us.
Yeah.
If your dog chews your rug.
Yeah. The death of your rug. Like, we may not give you credit for it, but we always love to hear from you.
If you like to run, whatever. So
yeah. All the runners out there call in and talk about how I'm like should be running much further. It's like, what do you mean you can't run a mile, you fat ass? You know.
Tell Daniel how much he sucks.
That's right.
That's always good.
That's right.
I don't know if I should be talking about this because maybe he listens and I don't know.
Oh.
But I'm going to assume he doesn't. And if you're listening, oh, well, you're spoiled. You shouldn't have been listening to my private
I believe
podcast.
You're talking about your partner, Mark.
My partner,
and
Mark.
I feel like at this point, if he had been listening, he would have said something in the chat room. Or usually when he's listening, he'll say something.
Sure. Well, I don't know. Maybe he does it in secret. He's like, is he talking about me?
Also, remember, you weren't streaming and you weren't on YouTube. So there was no sound on YouTube and you weren't streaming. So the only way he could have heard us was in Discord and we would have seen him. So you're pretty
not
safe
now.
then.
I'm talking about now.
No, I know now. So you think he's off, dozing off, doing whatever he's going to do.
I don't know.
And he's like, suddenly, you know what? I think I'm going to go.
I'm
listen
not going
to
to say anything bad about
show.
him anyway, but I don't want him to. So,
let me just say this. I know, hold on. I know what this topic is.
Yeah.
Mark, you should stop listening. You don't want to spoil the surprise, Mark. Stop listening now.
And
you know what's coming up. So just you know what day is coming up. So just
cue the
go
scene.
away. Yeah. Okay.
So his birthday's coming up.
Yes.
And we don't always buy gifts for each other because we're both adults. We both have money. We can both buy our own things. And so as you will know this as well, Daniel, when you want something,
yes,
generally it's expensive because generally it's a technology something.
Yep.
And B, you're just going to buy it yourself. And then so the next the next birthday or like whatever. And so no, Cyclone, it is not another bracelet story. Anyway, so his birthday's coming up, but I was like, you know what? I want to get him something because we went to Iceland for my birthday.
Yes.
So, and it's not like I didn't pay for part of it. I mean, it's not like he gave me a trip to Iceland, but we went to Iceland for my birthday.
Yes.
So, but I don't know. He is so hard to buy for because, again, if he wants something, he buys it. He's not really into technology other than his iPhone, which he has already purchased the new one. So, like, that was not an option.
Yeah.
he does like experiences. Like he likes concerts, he likes things of that nature. And his favorite singer in the world is Adele. But. And so a long time ago, I mean, like 5 years ago, I was a really good boyfriend and I bought him plane tickets and tickets to an Adele concert in Atlanta. And I thought, oh, Adele is performing in Las Vegas. And flying to Las Vegas is pretty cheap. We could fly to Las Vegas, and then we both are trying to retain our platinum status on our airline. So we've got to do some flying.
Yeah, got to get
at some point. But none of her tickets are just like Taylor Swift. They've all like been scalped, and you have to go to StubHub or whatever. And a reasonable seat, just a reasonable seat, was going to be $1,000 per person. Now I was considering doing that.
Mm-hmm.
He's worth it to me, but I wanted to run it by him because I think if I spent too much, he would be irritated.
Yes.
And so even though it's my money, he'd be like, you should not have spent that much money, because he's the more responsible of the two of us when it comes to like money. So I just mentioned it a few weeks back. I'm like, hey, I had thought about possibly getting tickets for the Adele concert. And he's like, no, they're too expensive. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, he doesn't want me to do that. But he likes.
But does he know what they cost?
I mean, I know he would think that's expensive. What
I'm saying when he said it was too expensive, do you know what number he thought was too expensive? Like, maybe he went and looked, and the day that he went and looked, the Adele tickets were $4,000. Maybe he was thinking like, if the $8,000 is way too much.
No, he definitely thinks $1,000 a ticket is too expensive.
Okay.
I know him that well. Anyway. And so I was looking.
I can't think of a human being that I would be willing to pay $1,000 to listen to. Like, I'm not talking about a one-on-one experience or a dinner with them or whatever. I'm talking about, being in a crowd of 10,000, 20,000 people, watching them with drunk people standing up in front of me and blocking my view. There's no one that I could possibly imagine that I would be willing to pay $1,000 for.
So what I understand. So, and I do think it's gotten out of hand, but I mean, we have to keep in mind that this is not the artists charging that much. This is StubHub.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm not blaming Adele.
It's not even StubHub. It's whatever they're worth, these scalpers are going to,
I know. Yeah, it's this reseller, mentality, this whole like side hustle mentality.
I used to be able to get a good ticket for $100.
Right.
A good seat.
You can now. All you have to do is invest in a small farm of computers, like a small botnet that you can like hit the ticket sales as soon as they go on sale with lightning speed.
I wonder if that's a good way to make money. I mean, I could seriously just write a script to do that and
you
purchase some server.
Adam. There's serious money being made here. The people that are doing this have much more resources than you do. It's just
yeah. So anyway, bottom line, I was like, I know he likes Pink as well.
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder if Pink is on tour.
The color or the
singer?
Okay.
Pink. I'm
familiar. I just wanted to make sure when you said he likes Pink also, I just wanted to make sure that you were talking about the singer, not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's it's in early October. It's not, his birthday is September 27th. But I was thinking it's in Kansas City, Missouri, which is we could fly, but it's only like a 3-hour drive.
Everything's up to date in Kansas City.
3.5 hours maybe. Mm-hmm. And so I was thinking, I mean, it's not Adele's his favorite singer, but he enjoys Pink.
Yeah.
We've been to a Pink concert together in Little Rock maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So what I was thinking is just make it an experience and be like, okay, for your birthday, I'm getting tickets to Pink. Also, the Pink tickets were only like $150 for a good seat. Not the $1,000 I was going to have to pay for Adele. And we could drive to Kansas City, or we could fly if we really,
yeah.
I don't know, can we? Because it's only a 3-hour drive, so I'm not even sure if you can.
Here's what I would do.
You could.
Here's what I would do.
So I was thinking that because he likes Japanese food. They have a couple of good Japanese restaurants in Kansas City. Get a hotel, long weekend, yada. No.
Here's what you do, Adam. You said it yourself. You're both trying to get airline points for the sole purpose of maintaining your platinum. So figure out a restaurant owned by a Food Network chef or not that you could fly to. And the restaurant itself doesn't need to be the expensive part of this. Buy first class tickets to fly to wherever that's at. And that's his birthday. We're going to fly you first class to Cat Cora's restaurant in, Amarillo, Texas, and have dinner, and then we're going to fly back.
If we did that, I might as well do the Adele tickets because first class tickets are going to cost more than an Adele concert.
But it's going to give him airline points and you airline points, and it's going to be a posh. And you don't know that first class ticket's going to cost that much more. It depends on how far you're flying.
At least $1,500.
It depends if you use it. You could also use a combination of points and money for it.
That's an idea, but I feel like we would enjoy more just having not first class seats because that's so expensive, and then use that money on the nice meal or whatever.
But that's the thing, right? Is that's the gift. The gift is the executive treatment.
He's much more practical than that, though. I think it would. If he thought I was being irresponsible, I think
then you explain it to him. You're like, you don't understand. These are airline points. I'm not. Look at this. I just got us. I maintain our platinum status. That would have cost easily $10,000. So if you really think about it, I'm saving us $6,000 by buying these $4,000 first.
Well, let's say we don't do what you just recommended.
You mean the correct answer?
Do you think that would be an enjoyable going to a concert in Kansas City? Going to a nice restaurant there. They do have restaurants in Kansas City.
Yeah. So what concert?
It's Pink.
Oh, so you found, I missed the part where you found reasonable tickets for Pink.
Yeah, the Pink tickets are perfectly reasonable.
Okay. Well then, yeah.
It's
I think that's a good. I
don't know who else is touring right now, but
so it's how long of a drive is it?
3 hours, but we could fly, like I said. 3.5.
You could charter a plane.
Well, I feel like airlines do fly to Kansas City. There is an airport there.
To make it feel more special or whatever.
I see.
Charter a helicopter or a plane or whatever. It's just like, to Kansas City, my good man. Not a jet. No, not like, like a prop plane. Like, have like... You basically charter a dude with a Cessna or whatever to like fly you guys to Kansas City. You get to land at the smaller airports and
it's only Kansas City's probably only like a 15-minute flight away or something, like 20 minutes.
On a prop plane, a 3-hour car ride you could do it in a little under an hour.
And Auntie Scott says, I feel another air crash story coming on. Well, at least I'm prepared. I've already been in one, so
that's true. And he talked about it on the live Pride 48 weekend. Too bad you guys missed it. News game. It's the news game. It's the news game. What questions will he ask? It is the Mix Minus News Game. This is the segment of the show where Adam will read me 5 questions from the New York Times news quiz, and I, using only my head, brain, and mouth words, will answer those questions. These are all multiple choice answers. I will try to answer them without knowing what the choices are, but I am always free to ask for the choices. Sometimes the New York Times does this thing where they'll like give us multiple choices, like which of the 3 following, whatever. So hopefully Adam will skip those. But in those cases, I will have to know what the choices are. Immediately following, we will do a bonus round where Adam will read me questions from a Trivial Pursuit card for bonus points. I'm bringing up the 60-second countdown timer, which I still have not copied and put over to place. Adam, what is the first question on the old news quiz this evening?
The first question is, in his first in-person speech to the United Nations Security Council, what did President Volodymyr Zelensky,
Yeah.
of Ukraine say should happen to Russia?
I'm going to need the choices on this. So,
Its diplomats should be barred from speaking at the UN.
yeah.
It should be kicked out of the UN.
Yeah.
It should give Ukraine its permanent Security Council seat. It should have to pay a fine, or it should lose its veto power in the Security Council.
Oh, I wasn't even following this one. This total guess. I'm going to say they should lose their seat on the council. What was that? Was that an option?
Kicked out of the UN.
Yes. Yeah, sure. That.
It should lose its veto power in the Security Council.
was my
Zelensky
second
said that
choice.
Russia should lose its veto power, which has paralyzed the Council's ability to take actions against the country, and that the General Assembly should have the power to take it away.
Okay. What's our next question?
Number 2, Canada
Number
accused
2.
agents of the Indian government of doing what on Canadian soil?
Canada, my Canada. You didn't get to see that when you were at Epcot. You didn't get to see the Canadian film.
I mean, is it as good as the
Ooh,
American
Canada.
Patriot
Oh,
parade thing that I fell asleep
My
in?
God.
Because
So
if
I
it-
need someone to help me here. Anyone out there who loves the American Adventure at Epcot, will you please call our voicemail 707-61-DEATH and please defend me here, because I think the American Adventure at Epcot is one of the greatest attractions on property, and you hated it. But no, Adam, it's not that. It's Moira. Consider Moira and what's his name, Schnitt or Shit, narrating
Schitt's Creek. Okay. Yep.
narrating the history and beauty of Canada, because
Okay.
they have Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara do the narration
Yeah.
of the. They don't do it as the Schnitt, as the Shits, but you know what I'm saying. They just do it themselves. They just do it themselves, baby. What's our next question?
You haven't
Oh wait,
answered
I
that
didn't answer
one.
that one, did I? It's they're targeting the Sikhs.
Okay, there's one killing a Sikh separatist.
Yes.
That is correct. Number 3, against which automobile? Nope.
Nope. I don't know that automobile.
Jan Wenner was removed from his position at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame after he said that black and female musicians were not articulate enough to be featured in his book. Which magazine did Wenner co-found?
Oh, I think it was Rolling Stone, but what are my choices?
Cream, NME, Pitchfork, Spin, or Rolling Stone?
Yeah, I think it was Rolling Stone. Yeah, okay.
That is correct. Okay, number 3.
Yes, but that wasn't that number 3? That was number 3. Now you're
That-
asking me number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4.
I lost it. Okay, the Senate decided to do away with a centuries-old informal dress code requiring lawmakers to
Yes,
wear
they
business
did.
attire.
Yes, they did.
Who was in charge of enforcing this outfit standard?
Oh, I thought I was going to ask who vociferously complained about it, and that was Marjorie Taylor Greene. Is it the arms dude, the Sergeant Arms dude?
That is correct. Wait, Marjorie Taylor Greene
Yeah.
wanted to keep the dress code?
Yes.
Or
yes.
I would have
Yes.
figured she would have been the first one up there in sweats and a
She considers
a-
herself somewhat of a fashionista.
Coors Light t-shirt. The U.S. agreed to unfreeze $6 billion in Iranian oil revenue and dismiss federal charges against 5 Iranians in exchange for what?
For something that was not nearly worth that. What are my choices?
A commitment by Iran to reduce pollution,
No.
normalization of relations with Israel, Support for Ukraine in its war against Russia.
Maybe. But probably.
Immediate closing of all Iran's nuclear facilities.
Mhm.
Or the freedom of 5 Americans who had been imprisoned in Iran.
Yeah, probably that one. Probably the prisoners.
I thought we didn't negotiate with folks.
With terrorists? What? We're not. They're a
don't know.
country. There are partners
or
in
pay
peace.
for prisoners or something. Yeah, like if somebody has prisoners of war, like we don't negotiate, right?
No, Adam, these are not terrorists. There are partners in peace. Didn't you watch The West Wing? That was like one of my favorite
No,
CJ.
but I mean, yes, I did.
That was
but
one of my favorite CJ Crane speeches was when they asked her about Saudi Arabia and how they treated women. And she was just like, but they're not wrong. There are partners in peace. And then she slammed her book and walked off stage. And it was like, yeah.
I've watched that show 1.5 times because I started a rewatch, but I don't think I made it all the way through.
Was that it? Is there a question number 5 or
that was number 5?
Oh, that was number 5. Oh my God!
You got 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. So I need to make up 1 point here in the bonus round. Let's put 60 seconds on the big board. All right, let's get the damn thing to start at the right spot.
The game begins in 3, 2, 1.
What Central American country's name translates as, quote, the savior?
El Salvador.
That is correct. What All My Children diva was cast as Ebby, TV's first female Scrooge?
Ebby Scrooge. What character?
What All My Children diva was cast as Ebby?
No idea.
Susan Lucci. What U.S. president and his first lady both had the thyroid disorder Graves' disease?
Was it Roosevelt? Or was it Eleanor and
George and Barbara Bush. What T word is defined in geometry as a straight line that touches a curve but continues on without crossing it? A T word.
A T word. Yeah, it's not triangle. It's trapezoid?
Tangent. How many NHL franchises were there in
I'm
Cal?
so sorry.
Well, it's your
possibly,
points that you're missing
listen to
when I
possibly.
can't. No skin off my teeth.
Well, you know, Adam, I needed to make up 1 point to get a perfect score of 5, and I did get 1 point. So that's a perfect 5 out of 5, Adam. That's, because I am really good at this game. You know what I'm not really good at? Is loading the correct ending song. Because this is the long version again.
I feel comfortable right now live streaming to our chat room. It feels like I've got a comfy pair of sweats on and I'm on the couch. It's different when you do it.
Please wake up. Yeah, sorry,
It's different when you do it for the whole live streaming weekend in front of 80 people. It's different.
Oh, I think it's coming up to an end here, Adam. Here we go.
Oh, good.
How about that? Adam, each and every week, our executive producer, Cyclone, sends us an exhaustive compendium of knowledge. Just, like if you've ever seen the movie The Santa Claus and all those delivery trucks show up with those big, huge boxes of the list that gets delivered to Scott Calvin, you'll know what I'm talking about. We just, the FedEx trucks pull up, they bring these reams of paper in, entire forests are sacrificed so that we can have this vital information here on the show. These are things that happen on the same day that we're recording of another year. So these are things that happened in history on this day, the day that we're recording, and today that happens to be September 22nd. Did you celebrate 21st of September yesterday with the Earth, Wind, and Fire song?
No. Do you remember?
21st of September.
I never remember the date that they use. I know it's
21st.
September, but I don't know that. I mean, people like the 15th of September. Like, I don't know.
This is from the Mix Minus Research Center Archives and Test Kitchen. Jesus.
Yes.
I have dyslexia. When I looked out at my corner there, I thought it said White Caucasian Day. It actually says White Chocolate Day. So happy White Chocolate Day, Adam.
Happy White Chocolate Day, Daniel. Daniel, do you prefer the white chocolate
I
to
do.
the dark chocolate? Is that
I do. I absolutely do.
Why? Why you got? Why
I'm
you
not
gotta
a
like the
fan
white chocolate?
I'm not a fan of chocolate, Adam. Now,
Right.
I love black men, but chocolate, the food, I don't like at all.
I see.
So
I see.
if I had to choose between a black man and a white man to hook up with, it's like glasses. Like 9 times out of 10, I'll go with the black guy.
I see. I don't know if I knew that about you.
Yeah.
If it's an Asian guy, 9 times out of 10, I will. You know.
I know. I knew that about you.
Why white chocolate isn't chocolate? Wait, it really is. Will the real chocolate please stand up? The official definition of chocolate in the U.S. says it must include a certain percentage of cocoa solids, which is the source of dark chocolate color and aroma, which are not present in white chocolate.
Yeah.
Why? Also, white chocolate does contain cocoa butter, which may have been the deciding factor in the FDA's decision to grant it official chocolate status.
Actually. And in conjunction with National Chocolate Day or White Chocolate Day, it's also National Elephant Appreciation Day.
I mean, if you eat too much white chocolate, that could be a nickname.
It could. Welcome to the National Elephant Appreciation Day. I'm being told by our executive producer that White Caucasian Day isn't for a few months. So okay, we have a few months for that one to come up.
Wow, I haven't bought the decorations for it. I've got to set up the grill. I need some time.
Oh my God. No. You need to, for White Caucasian Day, you need to set up the fondue pot and and make sure you bring out the avocado green appliances.
Okay.
You're thinking of National Racist Day, which is completely different.
Oh, I see. I'm
holiday.
sorry.
On September 22nd of 2002, voters in the canton of Zurich vote 63% to 37% to give same-sex couples the same legal rights as married opposite-sex couples. So
That seems a little bit. I would have thought they would have been back in the 70s or something. Like 2002 seems, late in the game. I thought these.
That was 21 years ago.
Yeah.
I know. If you're anything like me, you think 20 years ago is 1990. Like in your head, you're convinced that 20 years ago was 1990.
That's true.
I
do feel like.
Even though 1990 is almost 40 years ago, it's like 39 years ago.
I feel like yesterday was 1990, Daniel. Time.
Anyway, let's see. In 2019, Billy Porter became the first openly gay actor to win an Emmy for a lead actor in a drama series for Pose. And then, sadly, Pose fell apart, and it was such a good show. It just fell apart with some kind of drama thing that I didn't really.
Did you know Idina Menzel is 52 years old?
I did.
I wouldn't have thought of her as being that age. Also, she's really only famous for 2 shows.
Yeah.
They call her the Queen of Broadway, but she was basically the originator of the female role in Rent.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was only in Wicked for a year and a half.
Long enough to win the Tony, yeah.
I mean, yeah, she won a Tony, whatever. I mean, I
Andrew,
like Idina Menzel.
Andrew Rannells was only in Book of Mormon for a year and a half, but that's how it works on Broadway. Anyway, on September 22nd of 2003, a new program allowed Disney World guests to have lunch or dinner with a Walt Disney Imagineer at the Hollywood Brown Derby.
Oh, that'd be fun.
It still goes on today. You can
have
still
you
do
done
that today. I have never done that. Because it's not like you get to have dinner with them by yourself. It's a table of 15. It was like a chef's table, right? So it's going to be.
I see.
20. So it's just going to be the two of us with 18 strangers.
If I had to have dinner with a listener,
yeah,
I'd be like, oh. Do you think these Imagineers are okay, Bob, it's your turn? And it's like a developer having the pager, It's
Adam,
okay, fine.
Yeah, what are you doing? We have had dinner with listeners before in Vegas, and we've never had a bad experience. No, you
love them.
One of the pictures you were talking about over the weekend was you eating dinner at Tim and Alaska's house.
My favorite people are listeners. Love you all.
Let's see what else. Anything here that's jumping out at you?
I mean, I would, just to be honest, the Disney stuff never does, because
Oh, but I'm saying anywhere in the document, like in 1862, on September 22nd, President Abraham Lincoln issued a preliminary Emancipation Proclamation, which sets a date for the freedom of more than 3 million enslaved in the United States and recast the Civil War as a fight against slavery. Yeah, but he didn't.
Was that the
like, that wasn't the final.
407 years ago? Is that the speech?
No,
No.
That's the Gettysburg Address.
Okay.
No, Emancipation Proclamation was the. Is it quoted here? All persons held as slaves. It's not very quotable. It's basically the thing that says that, hey, if you have slaves, they're emancipated. Anyway, President Kennedy signed Peace Corps legislation in 1961 on September 22nd. Oh, President Ford survived a second assassination attempt in 1975. I didn't know that President Ford had been assassinated. I mean, had 2 assassination attempts.
No,
I never
didn't
knew that.
know that either. I know that President, it might be the same president. Now I'm trying to think here. There was a president who had a really big dick and was known to just take it out at
that
random
was
times.
yeah, I know who you're talking
And there
about.
were
That
some
was,
tapes of him that were
Yeah.
released at
that was
some
Johnson.
point.
I think it was Johnson.
And he was like, I gotta take a piss, or whatever. And he's like on.
Yeah, I think it was Kennedy's replacement, Johnson. I never knew President Ford had 2 assassination attempts. That's crazy what you learn right here on Look at Adam. We're an educational show.
We are.
Learning new things every week.
In 1993, an Amtrak train headed to Miami derailed near Mobile, Alabama.
Why would you focus on that when you know that in 1994, Friends debuted on NBC? So on September 22nd.
I see. Okay.
Typical Weekly World News here. We're looking at the September 22nd, 1998 edition. Typical, Judgment Day, Billy, whatever. Are you prepared for Judgment Day?
Daniel, have you made peace with your maker?
Well, my makers are dead. My mom and dad are both dead, so... man saws off his arm to get handicap parking sticker.
So we had to pick up my mom's car at the airport because they went out of town, as we said.
Yeah.
I thought they parked in the economy lot because they always do, and I was so busy. I'm like, oh, we'll pick it up at some point. We got there, and they had not parked in the economy lot.
No.
And I owed $120 for the parking. And then, because I left it there for like 6 days or 7 days, something like that.
$120 to park your... Okay.
And then I saw that my mom now has a handicap license plate.
Did she saw her arm
sad.
off?
It was kind of sad, but that's how it was relevant, folks, is because handicap disabled.
Did she saw her arm off to get it? Because
she
guy
must have gone
totally
in there
did.
and said, I've got a bad back, my stomach problems, whatever. She had a knee replacement, so there's that as well.
Okay. Anything else here that you want to draw attention to? Oh, did we finish the smartest move I ever
Daniel?
made? Says one-armed Jack Gunter, angry at the common sight of vacant handicap spaces in packed parking lots. So he saw this. Best move I ever made, he said.
Mark Mark, I know you're listening. Mm-hmm. He will appreciate this one. Americans will spend half their time waiting in lines.
Yeah.
A disturbing new study shows that by the year 2005, the average American will spend half his waking hours waiting in lines. Based on people being awake 15 hours a day, that means that an average person will wait in line 7.5 hours a day.
That's crazy.
For what?
In traffic counts as a line, like waiting in a line in traffic or waiting in a line in the store.
I know. Do you all? I know you storm out of lines if they make you put your phone in the locker, but I don't know if
That's
you
true.
hate waiting. I'm okay
good
waiting in
God,
lines.
I hate waiting in lines.
I don't like to wait in line, but I'm a very patient person. I will maybe I will seethe on the inside,
Yeah.
but I'm totally cool with it. I'm relaxed. I'm
No.
chill.
I
Mark
see it on the outside.
hates waiting in line.
Yep.
Hates it.
Adam, a whole bunch of people were born on September 22nd, and we would like to say happy birthday to some of them right this very moment. Happy birthday, Tom Felton. You've turned 36. You know, that's Malfoy from Harry Potter. Matthew Rush, you've turned 51. He is a male entertainer, a male porn actor. What was that,
I
Matthew Rush?
saw him in a play.
Yeah.
There was an all-nude play that he was in when he was really popular, like when he first made it big in the porn industry. I think I went with Maddie. I think it was in Dallas.
Wow.
I don't remember the name of it, but they were all naked.
Cool.
That's it.
Dan Bukatinsky, an American actor, writer, and producer. You've turned 58. And Andrea Bocelli turned 65. I almost said Andrea. Andrea Bocelli turned 65.
Dan Bucatini, or whatever his name was, he was in Scandal.
Yes, in Scandal. Bonnie Hunt turned 62. Scott Baio, fucker, turned 63. Debbie Boone turned 67. Tony Basil, hey Mickey, you're so fun, turned 80. Joan
You're
Jett,
so fun, you blow my mind. Hey, Mickey.
that's her. Joan Jett, I love rock and roll, turned 65. And anyone else you want to draw attention to? Billy Piper from Doctor Who turned 41. Tiona Paris turned 36. And Tatiana Maslany turned 38. I'm sure.
I mean, I think you
butchered
got. I think you got most of them.
Excellent.
Tommy Lasorda is dead,
Oh.
but it would have been his birthday.
Probably all those burgers. Anyway, from all of us here to all of you there, we would like to say a very, very happy birthday. Yeah. Where are we at on time? Are we all right on time? I don't know if we're on time or not. Yeah,
Do we have a limit?
No, we don't. But I have. We've lost half the audience. Well, I have an idea for a bit, Adam, for a recurring segment. On this
segment.
show.
Wow, we haven't had a new segment in a while.
I know. Well, it's based off of an old segment, but we used to occasionally do a technology segment. If someone called in and asked us a technology question, we would fire it up and we would, give an answer. The old technology segment. But I was wondering, so many times, Adam.
Yes.
Our technology takes us 80%. And it's that remaining 20% that really gets under my skin, Adam. It's like, I feel like a new segment called Better Tech. And it just little tiny things that annoy me about.
Is that just where you
a
can
common
complain
tech-
about something that's pissed you off about something?
I'm going to give constructive advice on how to get there, how to get that last 20%.
Give us an example.
I'm going to, and I'm going to do it this way, Adam. Let's go. I'm going to take one topic I'm going to do here in the Better Tech segment.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it.
Better Tech, brought to you by The Mix. Adam, this week
It should be brought to you by Geek Squad. I mean, to be honest.
actually we owe Big Fatty a recording because he's playing his old one where it says brought to you by Dubious Intent. We do. I think. Wait. Hold on. We can fix that. Let me just fix that really fast. Here. Hold on.
Break it, fix it, trash it.
I can't. I was saying, hold on on top of that. So let me get a clean plate. You know, we're professionals here, Adam. Let me get a clean plate for Big Fatty.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it.
The Big Fatty Technology segment brought to you by Mix Minus. Check them out at mixminuspodcast.com.
Drag it, drop it, zip and zip it. Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, charge it, point.
Okay, there you go, Fatty. All right, here we are in the Better Tech segment,
Yeah.
Adam. The Better Tech segment.
I love it. We put so much work into the show. We come up with new music, completely
I know.
original segments that we've
Completely
never
original.
done before.
Never done before.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You know what I wanted to do is I wanted to end the Test Kitchen segment with a story from today, like a September 22nd to 2023 story.
Okay.
But I totally forgot. So we'll talk about that in the after show. And the after show, of course, is what we do right after we get finished recording this. We record an after show. The level 13 folks who may be listening live right now or on this recording. Yeah, I know. I'm very far behind. I had a thing where I spilled water all over a mixer and it fried it out, but it also got poured all over the backup recorder, the one that I used to record the after show on. So I still haven't been able to get those files, and so I'm kind of stuck because I'm trying to get the files off. I do have other after shows that I have recorded. I will do something this week to get that going again.
By the way, I now have
enough.
set the software that I stream with to automatically record when I'm streaming.
Does it
And so-
automatically record and then email Taylor the Latte Boy with a link to it so that
No.
there's-
Well, no, I have 12 minutes of oh my God, they're still talking.
Oh, a whole 12 minutes.
But you and I switched and you took over and you didn't record it. So it's really your fault.
Well, that could have
See, I
easily been
recorded
fixed.
my 12 minutes.
Right. Well, it could have easily been avoided had you said to me, "Hey, Daniel, make sure you record this," because I didn't know that you guys had a conversation about who was going to record.
We hadn't. We had not had a conversation.
Oh, well, then
So-
it's really Taylor's fault.
Yeah,
because
he didn't
as
ask. He assumed that we were recording.
Yeah, and we
I-
assumed that he, as the producer of his show, had made those decisions. So, yeah, he doesn't listen to the show, but if he did,
So what's
he
your
would
better
be-
tech?
he would-
What's
he would-
your?
Oh, I'm
what's
so
your
sorry,
thing?
Adam. Here's my one thing. The modern miracle of cell phones has brought us, amongst other things, Google Maps, and I use Google Maps daily, and that's not an exaggeration. Like, even if I'm just going to
Can't
Winn-Dixie,
remember how to get to work, right?
that's what it is, Adam. Even if I can't get to even if I'm just going up the road to Winn-Dixie or whatever, I typically will punch it into my Google Maps because with my Android Auto, it's right up on my screen anyway, and it's a really easy choice to make, and that gives me traffic information, and then, if there was some wreck between here and there, it would reroute me, right? So it's like, it's not something that's common, but sometimes it does save your butt, right? It does like reroute you around something that you otherwise would have spent a long time waiting for. But anyway, Google Maps is awesome. I use Google Maps all the time. It's one of my favorite things on my phone is Google Maps. It gets me wherever I want to go, to Disney, wherever, whatever. However, it's only 80% good. And there's that remaining 20% that needs to be fixed, Adam. And I'm going to tell you, anyone out there who works on Google Maps, here you go. Here's some free ideas to make Google Maps even better.
This segment is a product manager's dream because it's
I know.
feedback, and
It is. It's
and the
feedback,
product
yeah.
manager is going to be that'll be on their roadmap.
Oh my
'Cause,
God.
they
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
listen to us. So
Yeah, they do. We are the most listened to podcast by project managers nationwide.
product managers, not project managers.
Oh,
Product.
those two. Those two. Anyway, not Scrum Masters. Though. Scrum Masters weirdly listen to RuPaul's Drag Race recap. Anyway, the thing is, Adam, is that here's how to make Google Maps even better. I have turned off the voice, right? I don't let it talk to me because, as aforementioned, when I get in my truck and Android Auto pops up, I tell it my destination, right? I go ahead and I just pick it off the thing and tell it. I don't need turn-by-turn directions to get out of my subdivision. I don't
Well, that's
need
good.
turn-by-turn directions to get to the interstate. I don't need you to interrupt me and give me your voice prompts about where to turn and stuff until I'm 50 miles down the road.
We've had
right?
this
When I'm
discussion.
I know we
Maybe
have,
not
Adam,
on a
but
show.
now we're doing it. But now we're doing it in the better tech.
But I
segment.
want to. But wait. But the other thing that we talked about was in this conversation was they always talk.
Yes.
Right when you're about to say something to Zach, you're like, "Hey Zach, by the
Yes.
way, in 3 feet, and then
Right.
they shut up,
Yep.
and then the next time you mention turn in the next, it's like, oh,
And here's they talk too much, but that's not the problem. The to get to the 20%, what I need to do, because here's the other thing. I listen to a podcast on my phone. So it's not just Google Maps is being powered off my phone. It's podcast. Every time that voice talks, my podcast pauses and then it'll back up 3 seconds and play again. So when I get a lot of repeats, I'm going backwards in the podcast. It's like if you get enough interruptions rapidly in a row, you're actually going backwards through the podcast, right? And it's highly annoying and I hate it.
And when you get close to a turn, it wants to warn you like 4 times.
Yeah. Right. So here's what I want. What I want is I want to just do it the normal way that I do it. I want to say, hey, navigate to the Grand Floridian Hotel. But I want to add on a little caveat. I want to say, hey, navigate to the Grand Floridian Hotel and mute yourself until we're 10 miles away. That's all I want to do. All I want. I just want it to just like give me, it's like, I don't want to have to remember down the road to turn the voice back on. Because sometimes, it's very helpful for it to tell you that it's the next exit and you need to get over 3 lanes, right? It's like sometimes it is helpful to have more information than what you can just see out of the corner of your eye on the screen. So I want the voice there, but I don't want the voice there all the goddamn time. And I feel like it's just, it's gotten to the point that it
and that
talks
one feature
so
that's the 20%.
That's 10.
That's 10. Okay.
10% is that 20 to get to the full 20, you would need to have some kind of, right now you can either have the navigation on, talking all the time. You can have it only talk for emergencies. So when it's like traffic detected ahead, rerouting or something like that, otherwise it doesn't say anything. It just tells you if it's going to do something like an emergency process. And then your third option is to mute it entirely. What I want is talk all the time and abbreviated talk and then emergency only. Because honestly, it's not that I don't want you to talk all the time. I just don't want you to keep telling me the huge
just
road
know when
names
it's
that
appropriate.
Turn off on exit 2B for Kissimmee, St. Cloud, Orlando, State Road 57264 in 2 miles. And then a mile later, turn off for Kissimmee, St. Cloud. It's like, I get it. Just tell me the exit number. You know what I'm saying? Just exit 62. Just give me an abbreviated version. I don't need to know.
Yeah, I've never understood why they didn't use numbers instead of the actual text because it seems like it would be easier. Yeah. I mean, less vocabulary for the thing to have to only 9 numbers. Yeah. Well, that's not true.
Cyclone says, or try Waze. Well, Waze is owned by Google, and I think Waze is
it's
just
so
being
weird.
shut. Didn't they just lay a whole bunch of people off at Waze because they're folding it all into Google Maps?
I don't know, but they haven't. Maybe they're there now, but it was so interesting because there are features that are in Waze that are still not in Google Maps. And it's like, I thought you were going to just put all those features over in Google Maps. But anyway.
Well, some of those features are not things that Google Map users want. Anyway, Adam, that is it. That's the better tech segment. What do you think? Is that an acceptable segment?
I think that's fine. Yeah.
We stream live on Pride 48 every Friday night at 10 p.m. Even during the live Pride 48 weekend, we streamed.
We did. I made sure that I gave us that privilege of having our normal time.
Look at how spoiled we are. Anyway, if you want to give us a call, you can do so. 707-61-DEATH is our phone number. Or you can go to voicemail.mix-podcast.com on your cell phone because, you have a microphone right there, so you can just hit record. You don't even have to dial. You can go to our website and record. Our email address is contact@mix-podcast.com. And, of course, you can listen to, I was going to say you can listen to our old shows on our website, but you actually can't. You have to go to Anchor.
You have to subscribe. Yeah.
It's really, we're a very hostile show. We don't give you any kind of...
They don't have a widget. There's not a widget that I'm aware of where you can have the whole catalog. That's not a thing that you can do.